And good evening and welcome to City Focus. I'm Marty Olsen, your host, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome back a couple of dynamic and lovely young ladies to the program representing the New London Public Library. Daneen Roth, who is the president of the library and the board, and the executive director, Madhu Gupta. And ladies, welcome.
Thank you for having us, Marty.
Daneen had stopped in where I work over at Ace Hardware a day or two ago, and she was looking for some support for an upcoming gala event as it's being promoted, the first annual gala for the New London Public Library. And over the course of discussion, I'm saying to myself, we should get the library back into the studio here, and we can discuss not only the gala but all other activities and what's going on and get up to speed, because if things change, they're not static. So you guys are the pros, you know what's going on. So I thank you for carving out an hour to share. Do you want to delve with the gala on the front end, or would you like to maybe discuss some of your programs and services and things of that nature that are available at the New London Library, your hours of operation, budgets, any of that kind of stuff? I'm going to throw it at you, and you guys can take it from there.
Madhu, do you want to talk about what's happening at the library in April? Because that doesn't involve any dressing up or getting ready to go anywhere on a particular day. That's all the time, all through April.
So the library is busy. April, we are celebrating the National Poetry Month. We are also doing STEAM Month in April. Plus, we have ongoing programs that are very popular after COVID. We have a creative writing program which has been very, very popular with children. So when we started this program, we were still thinking of whether we would continue it forward, because we had it in December and it was so successful that we continue to have it.
What defines children? Is that grammar school or junior high, middle school, high school?
Basically children who are elementary through middle school.
Okay.
And teenagers, as you know, we already have a teen activity room, and teenagers now belong to the teen department. So when teenagers would come to the children's room, they did not belong to the children's room because they wanted to be themselves, they wanted to socialize, and in the children's room we had children's activities. So the teen room now supports the teenagers' activities. We have hands-on programs, we have cooking programs, book clubs, discussions, boardrooms, Dungeons and Dragons, D&D games. So we have programs for teens in the teen room now. So which is now we have 4 different departments: circulation, information desk, children's services, and teen department. So we have a lot going on every day. So we have workshops
and this is when school is out, late afternoon, mid to late afternoon.
Right.
Until the library closes.
Until the library closes. So we open up. So the teen reading room is open throughout the day. The teen activity room opens at 2:30, and it's open until we are closed. We have a lot of programs going on in the teen rooms. We have a consistent group of teens coming. Plus, we also partner with local organizations who work with youth, and they come to the library to attend programs. Yeah. As I said, there are cooking programs, and there are board game nights. We also have chess clubs on weekends. So it's a busy place now at the library. We have, for adults, we have nonprofit workshops. We have one nonprofit workshop every month. We also have electronic literacy classes. And one of the programs which I am very proud of is the Digital Navigator program funded by the City of New London through ARPA grant. The Digital Navigator program prepares you for the new technology, or helps you answer questions about technology, or helps you, say you have a resume which you're applying for a job and you do not have a resume. The Digital Navigator will sit down with you and spend time with you to set up a profile and help you save your resume, set up an email account for you, and then help you apply for jobs. It's a busy place. And we have a lot of resources available.
Do you do anything in conjunction with the New London Public Schools, or is everything kind of independent of the schools?
We do. We have connections at schools, and we have contact information of them. We send them programs. We also work with schools. We send out our event list to the school every 15th of the month. Prior to the next month, we send out our event list. And children from school, as I said, teens come to the library at 2:30. Children come to the library to attend programs after school and even on weekends when we hold programs.
Okay. Now, at this point in my life, I associate a library with books and reading. Does the youth of America today come to the library looking for books and reading, or are they looking for other things to do?
Libraries have always been about books, but we have also been about resources. And we keep adding resources as technology is increasing, as gaming is increasing, as robotics is increasing. So we are incorporating all of those new features or technology to teach those things to our children, youth, adults. So yes, we have books, but we also have ebooks. You know what I mean? So we have hotspots. So I mean, who would think the library would have hotspots? Who would think the library would have a notary service available? And who would think we would have resources like Canopy, which is a database, and you can stream movies by just sitting at home and using a library card. So there are a lot of e-resources that we have built during COVID, and now we are expanding services to our patrons.
Well, that's obvious. That's why it's important that you come in here from time to time to bring everybody up to speed on these changes, because technology changes quickly. It's not static.
Well, in an answer to your question about teenagers, Marty, certainly they love to do all of the things you mentioned. And we do have a teen section in the library, the main part of the library. And a lot of that is very popular. The manga types of, they look to me like comic books, but they are really more sophisticated than that. And many graphic novels also. And by graphic, I don't mean like the descriptions and the things that are in them. I mean that they are drawn like comic books, but the illustrations are much higher quality than you'd find in a comic book. And those are very, very popular. And not just with teens. There are a lot of adults who like to read those graphic novels. And I would encourage adults to read some of those graphic novels to see what their kids are reading and are interested in. So that's all in one section, and all the adults have to do is ask about what things are very popular with the kids today.
Now, in regards to the schools, is the library a stop for the buses? Or if the kids are getting out of school, are they on their own to get to the library?
No, we're not a stop for buses, but the kids and families do come to the library on their own. Yes, we do have, we work with local nonprofits who work with youth, and they bus the children to the library.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's working out really well, because we have certain days like Wednesday evenings, twice a month we have programs at the library, so they bus students at the library.
Okay.
And there are several schools within walking distance of the library, and the children who are old enough to be walking on their own come to the library.
Yeah, well, you've got the Isaac School,
Isaac
and
Yes,
the
there are
Regional
a lot,
Magnet School,
yes, yeah. Multicultural
and as
magnet.
well as the, I would think, Jennings and the Benny
Yes.
Dover
Yes.
Middle School
Mm-hmm.
are all within a pretty short walk.
Well, everything in New London is kind of within a short walk.
Well, that's true, but I don't know, when you're stuck behind a school bus in the morning going someplace, it seems like they stop at every block, if not every house. But it's again, it's a little bit of a different thing. I mean, we didn't have school when I was in New London growing up. The school buses didn't come in until I was in high school. Mm-hmm. That's when Jefferson Avenue opened up, my sophomore year.
Well, and of course, in those days, and even the days when my children were school age, kids would walk around the city on their own. You don't see that very much anymore. And if you do, people become concerned about it almost right away and wonder what kids are doing walking down the street. So it's good that they have the library.
It's a different environment,
Yes,
that's for
it
sure.
is. Mhm.
You know, but there are other things that I mean, you've got computer access, so folks that don't have a computer or access to the internet at home are able to come to the library and use that resource. I don't know, is there a time limit on that? They can't sit on it all day, I wouldn't think, unless there's nobody else there. But I don't get that impression.
So we have computers, and after COVID, we started monitoring how many, like if people bring their own laptops or devices and they use the library Wi-Fi, which we never monitored that. But after COVID, we started monitoring
But you have
that.
your own machines in
Yes,
there as
but
well.
they use the library Wi-Fi because during COVID, people started working from home. But due to space issues or due to Wi-Fi issues, people started using the library as the remote working space. So while we were monitoring how many computers are used, we were not monitoring how many people are using our Wi-Fi. So when we started monitoring how many people were using Wi-Fi, we have over 2,500 Wi-Fi sessions reported every month at the library. And that does not include the number of computers that are used. So computers are timed. We generally start at 1 hour, but if somebody needs extra time, we will be happy to extend the time if nobody else is waiting. But if people are working on their job resumes or applying for jobs, then there is no time limit. We have 2 job search computers, and if the digital navigator is helping them or they're working on job search, there is no time limit.
So you, folks that come in, what are you finding is the primary computer usage? Is it job searching? Is it students doing homework or research for academic activities online, or will they even come into the library to look up things, in heaven forbid, in books, research in that fashion?
It's everything that you just mentioned and others, but we have seen that the digital navigator is very, very busy. She books appointments and she helps people who walk in with a lot of help for applying for jobs, people who never have had a resume, who never had an email address. So she's helping people set up email address first, then making a resume for them, then saving the resume and applying for jobs, which is not an easy process. You have to log into an account.
Is that a service that the library is providing? So if somebody
Yes.
comes in and does not have some of those skills, that you'll help guide them through the minefield, so to speak, so that they can put forth a positive presentation of themselves.
Right. So when you look at the reference desk, we have 2 staff members or only 1 staff member at the reference desk. When this staff member or the 2 staff members are helping people print their jobs or going on to a certain website to help them how to maneuver on that website or apply for apply some forms, this person is not able to sit down with a patron to help them for hours, because to set up an email address and then to make a resume takes time.
Yes.
So this person cannot help an individual who has who needs job search help. So the digital navigator is not helping people print material or help people look for books or help people go into our catalog and find material. This person, this individual sits down with the patron and spends as much time as needed to help this person apply for jobs. And we have had success stories. People come back to us. Not everybody comes back to us, but people come back to us and tell us that it is due to your librarian I was able to find a job which pays me so much. We have had those success stories. So that makes us very happy.
Sure.
That the Digital Navigator program has been
I mean,
successful.
the library in London, and in every community, but I mean, it's such a big asset. I think at times folks, it's always there, so they just I don't know if sometimes it's taken for granted or not, but you know, this goes back to colonial days. I mean, I think Ben Franklin was kind of the advocate for a library. That goes back to the beginning. But other things, I mean, do we still have the genealogy room, and does that get some reasonably good use? Folks, I know some folks that, not a lot, but that are very interested in that stuff, and they are always looking for opportunities to research their own family and their beginnings here in the community.
Yes, our local history room is very, very busy. And I do see that people who come from other towns or who have some roots here, connections here in New London, they come to the room and they have research to do in the room. The New London, so the day newspaper films, microfilm films are very, very popular. People use that microfilm machine, and because we are the only repository of the day newspaper microfilms. So
How far back does that go?
1881.
I'm sorry?
1881,
Really? Every issue of the day?
pretty much. I don't know,
Pretty
there might
much,
be some
yes.
gaps in there somewhere, but
Pretty
Wow.
much, yes, we
Yeah.
have the whole collection.
But we
yeah.
also have subscriptions to online services that help in the search for ancestors, like Ancestry.com, and the newspaper. There's a newspaper service so that you can look things up. Say, if you were from Fitchburg, Massachusetts, and wanted to look up something in the Fitchburg paper, you could do that at no charge, as long as they subscribe to that service too.
So you're involved with, you know, I mean, reciprocal arrangements with other libraries, not just in the area, but beyond.
That's part of, was it Lion?
Lion Libraries.
Lion Libraries Online.
Online.
And they are the ones who can provide books that are very popular right now that we might not have a copy of, so somebody would make a request. I think you can make the request online now, can't you? You request a certain title, and our library will search it and tell you when we can borrow it from what library and when to come in and get it. So that's a great service. It saves us from having to have the physical copy of the book in the library, but it also saves the patron from having to go all over creation looking for it.
Now, if you have a copy of a book that's in our library, but somebody has it out and somebody else comes in looking for it, would you seek a copy of it outside, or would you wait for that other copy to come back? How does that work?
I don't know, Madhu.
So with Lion, we are in a consortium with several other libraries. So we are in consortium with East Lyme, we are in consortium with Old Lyme, and several others, Otis. So we are in a consortium with other libraries.
In
Say-
Southeastern Connecticut.
Yes. Say we have a book, but it's checked out, and somebody wants that book. We will look in our consortium to see where it is, and we would request it from that library. But if the patron would want to just go and pick it at East Lyme right now, we can tell them, okay, we can get it here in 2 days, but it is available at East Lyme.
Okay.
So we do that.
And with your library card, you could drive to East Lyme and check it out personally there.
And return
Save
it at
time.
any other library.
Well, that's I'm learning as well here. So this is good.
Yes, the library card is like a passport. It's a passport to all of these great places around the state. Sometimes it's worth it to go to another library just to see how beautiful it is, because they are really beautiful buildings, many of them, especially in this part of the state.
Yeah. Now you still also bring in newspapers and current magazines and things of that nature, so folks that can come in and keep up to date on current events or whatever interests them through the circulation in the library.
So we have newspapers and we have magazines. A lot of people come during the day just to read newspapers and magazines. They'll never go out of fashion. I know newspapers are available online. Newspapers are also, and magazines are also available online. But some people, and including myself, I love to feel the book, feel the magazine and the newspaper.
I don't care to read online. I mean, I like to.
Hold the material. Yes.
I mean, I've given up the day delivery only because it comes so late that I don't want to read it when I come home at the end of the day. I want to read it early,
In the morning, yes.
and it just doesn't get there in time. So, now I do it online, but it's not by choice. But that's, I think, important that folks know that again, that's available. Or, you know, they can come down. And, I know you've got an eclectic mix of reading material. It's not just all of one bent or, you know, entertainment or this or that or business. You've got all sorts of stuff.
And if we don't have it, and patrons would like us to supply it for them, all they have to do is make a request, and we'll see what we can do about making it possible to have it there at the library. We don't know everybody's individual interests, so we try to hit a broad spectrum of what people like, but sometimes there are individual tastes and interests that, you know, need to have a little more attention.
Yeah.
So ask.
How does the library secure their books? I mean, are you buying everything, or is it this consortium that you work with? Do people donate books to the library to be put on the shelf for people to borrow? How does this work?
You want?
I'll start, and you can fill in.
Sure.
Madhu really knows the nuts and bolts of it, but in general, yes, we do buy books. Our new book budget is relatively small compared to other libraries, but then so is our shelf space. So what we do is we try to look over the lists that the American Library Association provides for current titles and things that look like people would be interested in, and pick and choose among them. We have an adopt-a-book program that usually runs from October to December, where patrons can come in and pick from any of a number of books that have been purchased and give us an offering towards those books and dedicate that book to someone or to commemorate some event. And that kind of helps too. And people feel like they have buy-in to provide titles that people want. We also do a lot with used books, and it's a labor-intensive thing. People are always bringing boxes of books into the library, and we welcome them. But it demands some time on the part of the library staff to look over the books, first of all, to see what physical condition they're in, because if they've been in somebody's basement for a while, they might smell a little moldy and we can't use them. Also to see what the titles are and how they fit in and maybe kind of help and complement our collection. And if they don't, we put them aside and use them for our annual book sale when other people come in and look them. And there is always a bookcase of very low-priced books that people have brought in. A lot of them are paperbacks, and sometimes the library staff will take time and put together packages of books for special occasions. Around holiday time, they put together maybe a package of 3 to 5 books that might be all on one topic, and they wrap them up with a nice bow. And it makes it easy for people to come in, and for a few dollars, they get some excellent titles, and they have 5 or 6 books, 3 or 4 books that they can give to people. So we try to do that too. And then there is also a little shelf in the entrance with free books on it, where there are books that we think people might like, but they might be a little more used than some other ones, so they're not worth it to us to ask people to pay for them. And sometimes it's worth it just to put them there so that people can take them.
Do books get to a point where nobody is taking them out, that you take them off the shelf to free up space? I mean, if it's...
That happens.
That happens.
It has to happen because we have to make space for newer
there's
things.
new publications all the time.
Well, and some books just go out of date. Now, if you were looking at a book that was published in, say, 1920, and it was about atomic theory, it would certainly be out of date with what's going on now. But then there are also titles that might not move at all, and it's time to move on from them, so they get what we call it is weeding.
Reading projects.
We weed our garden.
Yeah.
And those books may end up in the library book sale, or they may be passed on to.
Do you have
Other
an
folks.
area for storage for not just books, but just stuff that, I mean, because the space that you have, I mean, it is limited. I mean, it's not vast, it's compact.
Well, we do have stuff. That's a nice word for it. But that's mostly in the basement of the library, which is not where we want to store anything for any length of time. But there is stuff down there, and we don't like to store it for any length of time because once the space gets filled up, then we don't have space to put other stuff in there. So that gets moved out. Mostly that's where we put the books for the book sale until it's time for the book sale.
So there's no off-site storage.
No. One reason that there isn't is that we would probably have to pay for that. And then we would have to have somebody supervise it, and we're just not really
Just
prepared to
asking the
do
question,
that. Yeah,
just,
but it's a good question because there are many libraries, large city libraries, that do have those kinds of things because they have very valuable collections, and they may have first editions of books that they maybe want to keep for special scholarly interests and so on, but we're not one of them at this point.
Do you have any interaction with Conn College, Coast Guard, or Mitchell College libraries? Do you work with them, or are they in their own little spheres?
We definitely, because we are, as I said, we are in a consortium. I have seen Mitchell College interact with us. But again, if there is materials that a patron would like to borrow from them, yes, we are always in touch with them. Or if we have any programs going on and we are in partnership with them doing a program at the library, yes, we do work with them.
They provide us some volunteers to tutor kids and help with homework. That's really very valuable to have that personal relationship with them. Their collections, by and large, I think, are way more specialized than what we would offer at our library. But certainly, they like to talk to us, and we like to talk to them about what we have and what they have, and how we can help people find what they need.
Well, I would like to think, and I don't know, that the Public Library of New London would have a more extensive collection of a New London history than any of the schools. So if they have students that are doing papers or research on the city, that they would funnel them down to our library for information.
That's certainly the case. And one of the things that is in that room are old yearbooks from Williams Memorial Institute, Buckley High School, Chapman Technical High School, and I think there are probably some St. Bernard's yearbooks down there too. So there are some, specialized things like that, but there are also newspaper clippings. I think there's quite an extensive newspaper file of things that happened in New London during redevelopment. I think that Conn College did quite a bit of research on the things that we had there for that. There are also books down there, genealogies of particularly important New London families that you cannot find. They're not online, they're not on Google, so that people will come in and research, let's say, you belong to the Newcomb family, so you can look up your Newcomb relatives and ancestors in the book that's there. And then there's all the Mayflower stuff and DAR stuff and things like that, SAR stuff. Daughters of American Revolution, Sons of the American Revolution. Some of that is available online as well. Some of it is only available in subscription services, but the good news is that the Public Library of New London has a lot of those things available to you to use for free when you come in. So it's a win-win for everybody down there.
Now you also have available a pretty extensive movie collection, don't you? People can take movies out, bring them home, and watch them. And
Yes, we have a really nice DVD collection, but also now we have a subscription to Canopy, which is a streaming service. So with your library card, you can stream movies at home.
Okay,
Just
well,
using your library card. You don't have to come to the library to borrow anything. You do not have to return them back. All you do is select your library name from the list of libraries, put in your library card, and watch a movie on Friday evening.
Yeah, that's right. You don't need Netflix.
I'm just so old-fashioned. I'm operating in the prehistoric times here, but I'm glad I've got you here to try to get me up to speed a little bit. I think that's marvelous. Now, are there any plans right now for the library in terms of your physical structure? I mean, you've had over the number of years, you've had different capital projects. Is there anything on the planning stages now, or are we in any particular project that of note?
Well, maintenance is always an issue in a building that's on the National Historic Register and is about approaching 150 years old. We are making the main reading room, restroom into ADA compliance so that anybody who comes in a wheelchair or something like that can access a restroom now. They weren't able to before. So that's going to be going on.
Mhm.
Did that project already start?
So we
Madhu?
had a walkthrough today.
Oh,
It's gonna
okay,
start
so
today.
there was a walkthrough today, so that will be some construction going on in the next few months. We are always replacing things, carpet that's worn, windows that are broken or need repair, the roof.
Was just repaired.
Yes, and the difficulty with the roof is that in the historic part of the building, it's a slate roof. So we can't just hire any old roofing company to come along and
It's a
go up
specialized.
there. Yes, it is. Very specialized. So it takes a lot of effort to find somebody who knows what to do. But in terms of talking about major capital projects, at the moment, there isn't any plan for that. But what we need to do before we think about that is we need to build up our endowment. Our endowment is relatively small compared to other places. And many times when we do a project such as the bathroom renovation or something like that, we can get grants for it. We do get grants for a lot of those things, but the grants are sometimes matching grants, or they are sometimes grants that only pay us after we've already paid for it. So we need to have a fund to be able to do these things and then get reimbursed for it. So that is the major reason that we are putting together this gala, to try to raise money to increase the endowment fund, but also to buy some things that we need right away that will help the library.
Before we get into the gala, I know we want to spend some time here, but I mean, I recall when I first was getting involved politically back in the mid-1980s, which was a day or two ago, the library kicked off the Henry Haven Society.
Yes.
And that was a big deal. And as I recall, it was like $100 to get in. And at the time, $100 had some value.
It still does, it's just less.
But I mean, and that went on for a few years. I really don't know what happened, but it seemed to at some point peter out. So it appears you're trying to jumpstart something of I won't say exactly like, but something big, a big event.
Yes. Yes.
That will get the entire community excited and get behind it and get behind the library and support it financially and any other way that they can. And I'm proud to say that my New London Kiwanis Club has made a contribution towards this effort already. At least we're on record. We voted to do it. I don't know if you received a check yet, but we voted to do that.
Well, we're very grateful to the Kiwanis Club because it's always been very generous to us and very supportive of everything that we're doing. So it's marvelous to have that kind of community backing, especially since the Kiwanis Club draws from so many different elements within our community, our larger community. So we are very, very grateful for that. As to the Haven Society, I believe that was initiated when the library was going to do its addition and renovation, which happened, I think, back around 1976. I'm not sure Madhu was
Yes.
born yet, but
No, I wasn't.
but that was, I do remember that because it was a very big deal because there were some people at that time who felt that the library should be part of redevelopment and should be demolished and build a new one. And thank goodness there were some people who said, no, you're not going to get rid of that beautiful building. And they were able to come up with an architect. I think it was probably one of the Gipsteins, maybe it was Rick Gipstein, who's the architect.
Very talented architect.
Extremely so and very knowledgeable. And he drew up the plans for the addition, the modern addition that's on the library, which blends very well into the older building. So it did not destroy the character of the building at all and really did enlarge the space quite a bit. But I have the feeling that probably the Haven Society exhausted its possible patrons because people give $100 and figure, okay, I'm a member of the Haven Society. That takes care of that. So by the time the addition was put on and so on, that probably ran the course of interest in people for donating to it and so on. But I do have to say that the City of New London has been very supportive of our library and giving great amounts of help and encouragement and advice as to where we can find funds and where we can find grants for the things we have to do. Our mayor and city council have been absolutely 100% behind us. So we are very glad to tell them that we are giving them good value for their investment in us.
Well, I know sitting up there doing one's best to try to be supportive of the efforts of the library. So.
Yes, and we're in a unique position because we are a private organization. We are a nonprofit, private.
It's not a city department.
No, we are not. So we have to ask the city to fund us, and we get 85%.
About 83% this year.
Yeah, so if the city ever stopped helping us, we would be able to be open maybe for a year with the current endowment we have, and that would be it. So it helps the city because we do save the city money by doing things the way we do, and we are greatly helped because the city is behind us, helping us out with different projects that we wouldn't be able to do otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Well, with this upcoming gala event, let's talk about that. What do we got going here? What's the time, date, place? How can people who may be interested in supporting it either by attending or by sponsoring or any combination thereof, donating? What are you looking for? What do you need?
Well, Madhu, you want to talk about some of the material things we
Sure.
need? I hate to lead with saying, well, we can always use money, but
So this is our first annual gala on April 6th, which is Saturday, April 6th at 5:30 at the United States Coast Guard Academy
Consolidated Club, which used to be,
Formerly the Officers
yes,
Club,
yes, that's
yes.
what we, most of us townies call it.
or the O Club.
So the tickets are available on our website, plnl.org/gala. It's $125 for a ticket. And there is a QR code on our invitation. If you scan that, there is information about the gala available online.
The QR code there will take
Yeah,
folks to
if,
the
If
website.
anybody watching is interested, the address for the library is www.plnl.org, and they can get information not only about this, but just about everything you're doing. Because I stopped by there before coming on this evening, so I wouldn't come in stone cold here, and. But I would encourage folks that are interested in assisting the library. You can go online or stop in. I'm sure somebody at the desk could guide folks as well. But If they're interested in tickets or buying space, you have an ad book, correct?
Yes, we do. And there are different levels of sponsorship for the ad book as well as for tables and so on. Let me find a good copy here for you to hold up. It's a dinner dance. It will be the New London Big Band, I believe, that will be playing, so that if you like big band music, it's a great thing just to listen to. That's the
Okay, let's
That's
see if there we go. I don't know how clear that is from our audience,
Yeah.
but
that gives you a general
let's
idea.
see here. $500 gets you the back cover, front page. 350 is a standard placement, quarter page vertical. $100 half page is 200, quarter page is 100. So whether you'd like to do it via your business or just personally that you'd like to donate
right.
because you think the library is terrific and they deserve support, which I think we all should be doing.
Well, certainly if you are a professional person and you want to buy an ad, that's great. If you want to come, that's even better. The tickets are available online. We will be giving a very special award for the first time this year. It will be in honor of Josie Esposito.
She gave so much to the library.
She did. She raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for the library during the course of her time as the president of the Friends of the Library. And we have a very special award to give to folks who have worked very hard for the library over the last, 20 years probably. So it will be a big event for them too.
And is this open for publication, or is this a tight secret for the event?
Well, I think it should be open for publication so that anybody who knows these individuals can come and congratulate them. The award will go to Fran and Al Kinsel. Al Kinsel was president of the board a couple of times, and he also was on the board for a long time, and he's done a lot of things in New London. And Fran was the vice president of the Friends of the Library and now is the president of the Friends of the Library. So we can't think of two people right now who are more friendly to the library or given more of their time and effort than those two individuals.
Fran also served on the school board in town.
Yes, and these are real New London folks. They didn't come from New London, but they became New London folks, and they certainly have supported everything that we've been doing. Another thing that we would like to do through the course of this gala is to generate interest in people to join the Friends of the Library. The Friends of the Library got hit very bad by COVID because nobody could meet and do things and so on. So the organization kind of lost a lot of its drive. And of course, when Josie died, that kind of took a lot of the spirit out of a lot of people. So
Who is chairing that now?
the
Is
Friends
any-
of the Library, Fran is.
Kinsel.
Fran
is.
Kinsel.
Okay.
So we are looking to try to up the interest in it and up the enthusiasm and find other ways to get more members to do things for us, like help us raise money and do different kinds of activities. So come if you can.
Well, I encourage any and all to come, and and to sponsor. Do what you can. It's sneaking up. I mean, it's less than a month away.
Yes, that has us a little bit busy.
Is there a cutoff date for any of this stuff? I mean, for publication? I mean, that could be a problem.
March 22nd is the cutoff date for ads in the program, but we would certainly accept donations after that. You won't get an ad in the program, but you will get our sincere thanks.
Yeah, well, that's important.
And you can still, I don't know when the cutoff date for tickets is.
April 1st.
April 1st, so no fooling on that one.
And is that a plated meal or a buffet?
We have not decided yet.
Ah,
We have not decided on the menu, so it will be a surprise.
yeah. Now, to access this facility, do you need to have somebody affiliated, an officer with the Coast Guard who's with the library or associated with the library or not? Are they renting the space out to the public.
Well, the good news is that we didn't have to pay any money for the facility because there is somebody who graciously offered us their particular connection to the Officers Club or the Consolidated Club so
Yep.
that we could use it. So that was one of the reasons for choosing that venue, that we wouldn't have to pay thousands of dollars just to walk into the room. You don't have to be an officer or anything like that. You just have to have some connection there. I think that retired service people also have
Yeah.
access to it.
Oh,
so.
absolutely, yeah.
And we do have a lot of retired service people, as well as active duty service
area.
people in the area. So
Absolutely.
it's a good resource to take advantage of. And of course, a lot depends upon what's going on at the Coast Guard Academy at any time. They're beginning to ramp up for their graduation in May and so on. So things can get busy up there.
Well, it's a terrific venue, and I think I applaud your efforts to access that, and I think that should enhance your event.
Well, the credit really goes to our board member, Victoria Muller, who has pulled it all together and has put friendly pressure on people to participate and come and have a good time. And she's a wonderful person to coordinate things and get things together and get people excited about having fun for a good cause. So, Victoria, if you're watching, thank you very much.
Thank you,
And
Victoria.
get well soon to your children.
Yeah. Well, we hope maybe we'll be able to get her on at another time. But this, I think this is exciting, and I'm hoping that we have a very successful event that you can build upon. So, it's not just one and done. It's, as you say, it's the first, and next year will be the next, it'll be the second.
And there'll be more opportunities for people to receive the Josie Esposito Friends of the Library Award. So we encourage everybody to up their presence with the library and make yourselves known to us.
Yeah, well, her contributions to the library, you really can't even, it's hard to wrap your arms around. It's too much.
Yeah, we lost a lot when we lost Josie. So we're just trying to now rebuild from that, and she would be very happy for that.
Yeah. Well, I used to enjoy attending the Friends of the Library function.
Dinner gather. Yeah.
That's right.
Mhm.
Yeah, she used
December.
Those were fun.
Yes.
Yes.
See, other community folks that were supportive and interested in the library and the community.
It was a very nice reception that she used to do on a Sunday afternoon, usually it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, here for Josie.
Yes, absolutely. Nobody will replace her, so we have to move on.
And she's a bit more current than Henry Haven.
Yes, I'd say. Henry Haven owns the 19th century. Josie owns the 20th and
There
part
you
of the
go.
21st.
I think that's well stated. Well, we're getting down to our last handful of minutes. Is there anything that we have not touched on that you guys would like to share with our audience on any topic? I mean, more on the event, programs, facilities, where people can. Do you want volunteers? Can people volunteer at the library? And if they can, who do they see? How do they go about that?
We do?
So we do have volunteer opportunities in the adult reading room. We do not take volunteers for the children's room. So if you are interested in volunteering, or if you're looking for court hours or hours for school, please get in touch with us. The teen room does accept teen volunteers, so feel free to reach out to the head of teen services. Also, before this program ends, I do want to thank our community for using our toy library and making it very successful. Marty, 2 years ago we started the toy library. It is so popular that over 80 to 90 toys are checked out every month. This does not include the number of toys that are used within the library by families and children. So a big shout out to our children's librarian who has set it up so well that it has become so popular.
That's terrific. And one thing too, I don't think we've touched on yet is the fact that the library has meeting rooms that the community uses regularly. I don't know if it's I mean, I would suspect the demand for space for meetings is high.
It's very
is.
high. It's
It
very
is.
high.
And sometimes, yesterday, I was in a group that was in the community room, and the free music lessons were being given in the other half of the community room. So it really can be interesting and lively down there sometimes. But they are always in demand. And one of the difficulties we have is that they are only open until 7 o'clock in the evening, or maybe a little later if there's another
Right,
group in there. But if we had increased funding, we could be open later. You know, I know
Now, is that when
this-
the library itself closes
Yes.
at 7? So
Yeah, so sometimes, for example, with programs that might run a little later, we will have people there later. But I know that other libraries close maybe at 9 o'clock at night, so it would be nice if we could do that sometimes so that programs could extend. They could start at 7 and end at 8:30 or so, instead of starting at 6 and ending at 6:30 or 7.
and now you're open on Saturdays, correct?
We're open on
Open.
Saturdays.
Yeah.
Currently, we're also open on Sundays.
Every day of the week in the winter,
Until
and-
April. Yep.
yeah, and then in April, we are closed on Sundays.
On Sundays.
From April to September,
September.
yes, and that's through the Shea Foundation grant that we were able to be open on the weekends.
So, but you're open 6 days a week all year round, at
Yes,
least.
yes,
Yes.
And
yes,
7
sir.
days during the through the winter months.
That's correct, that's correct. And
That's
it's
important to
national,
know.
yeah, it's National Poetry Month, so we have all kinds of poetry stuff going on in the library. Also, there are workstations now for mothers that have little children. It's sort of like a playpen right next to a computer desk, so that the mothers can come in, or fathers, doesn't matter, work on their computer with the child right next to them,
safe area.
playing with a toy from the toy library. There's a seed library, so if you're getting your garden ready, you can come and get free seeds from the library.
And if you have meetings to attend and the meeting spaces are not available, we have a soundproof phone booth where you can attend your Zoom meeting or your telecall or a teleconference with your doctor.
Okay. Well, ladies, you know, we've almost like we've run out of time here. It's amazing when we're having so much fun, and you've got so much to say. And I want to thank you so much for coming in and spending some time and sharing what's going on, and that we have a bonanza with this first gala event for the benefit of the London Public Library. Folks, you've been watching City Focus, and we've had Daneen Roth and Madhu Gupta here in the studio. And ladies, thank you so much, and we'll have you back again.
Thank you,
And
Martin.
we'll get a report on the big event next time. We'll see you next week on City Focus. Good night.